Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I have noticed from the stats that you guys seem to be leaving in the first couple of minutes of the video, so I'll try and keep this as quick as possible. Today we're racing at Imola in the GT3s. I'm driving the McLaren and we also have the hypercars about as well. It's about a 40-minute race. Another great race following on from last week. Qualified in P7 for this race with a 1:48.743, as you'll see on the screen in a second. And looking at the safety rating from the last race, we're also getting even closer to gold, so hopefully not too much longer. Now, we did have a bit of a run-in with a hypercar at the start, which did drop us down quite a few places, but with a great pit stop we could be in for a podium fight again. So keep watching and see what happens. I would also just like to say, if you guys do enjoy the content and you enjoy watching the videos, please do consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It really does help me out and gets the video out there for other people to see as well. But flicking over to the race, let's see how we get on.
Green, green, green.
Kicking off the start of this race then, we make a move straight at the inside of that Mustang, as they really didn't get a very good start off the line. And already into the first corner you can see they're going from P7 up into P4.
Clear right. Sector 1 car.
Up and
Right
down to
clear.
P5, however just taking it slow through here as we do want to make sure there's no contact. So we've got a 40-minute race ahead of us.
Sector 1
Breaking into this here, oh,
clear
as you can
left.
see coming up on the radar,
Clear
trying to
left.
avoid the cars there,
Clear left.
but
Control left.
making a bit of
Stop.
contact with the Mustang on the way out.
Tiny bit of aero damage there. You probably won't even feel it.
Right, getting through there nice and cleanly as well. Right on the back of this Mustang then.
Yellow flag, sector 2.
Gone up a couple of positions from P7, comfortably sitting in P4 at the moment. Got some hypercar on the outside, so let's try and allow him through. Making a bit of contact with the Aston Martin behind there, but I thought he was going to go through there, but he does hold back. Probably changing down too many gears there. Nice tight line through here. Looks like the Ferrari is back on the way through. Trying to let these through nicely, however they do sit behind me, so I'll be waiting to let them through into the next corner. Now at the start of the race I did mention about that crash there, and as you can see hypercar trying to dive up the inside and unfortunately coming into contact with us, so dropping us down quite a few positions, not really ideal, down to P13, so essentially the last out of all of the GT3 cars from what I can see on the leaderboards there. Really not what I was hoping for, however all we've got to do is just settle back into this race, focus, and maybe with a good pit stop we can gain back some more positions. The Mustang and the BMW decided to go different directions here, and I do almost follow the BMW off. I wasn't really sure on the line there, I didn't get much practice in on this track. However, slotting in behind the Mustang in front, 0.4 seconds away, and up into P12, so I gained a couple of positions, P11 sorry. Just trying to keep nice and tidy now, and just settle into this race with some good driving. Hopefully we can make up some positions from that very unfortunate move at the start. Was finding the McLaren was understeering a little bit through here, as you can see they're running wide and having to let off. Tyres aren't fully up to temperature, but should be giving me a little bit more grip than that. So we do have a Toyota behind trying to squeeze past. So taking a wide line there and just letting him go through. Getting a bit of draft on the way. Taking a wide line from the Mustang there, clearly letting that Toyota go through, so we do gain a little bit on the brakes. Looks like he has put a little bit more electrical energy in than we have, currently sitting at 89% and we're at 88%. Nice tight line through there, keeping right on the back of this Mustang in front.
Sector 1 is yellow.
Nice and bright, so it's quite easy to follow.
Within think that Robin has crashed.
Again, getting the apex nicely. Mustang running quite wide.
Green flag in sector 1.
And leaving the
Clear
door
left.
wide open, so we slot right up in the inside. Don't know if that was intentional, because I was quicker, or if just a mistake from the Mustang there. However, coming into the final corner, getting a much better line through here, and already opening it up that gap to the Mustang to around 1 second, so we've got some decent pace at the moment. Just got to make sure we save those tyres. We do have a little bit of damage on the front and rear. Skipping forward then to lap 5, as after overtaking that Mustang we did settle in, and by the end of lap 5 we had basically caught up to the BMW in front. So 0.7 seconds away, as you can see,
Clear left.
and he's fighting with the Ferrari as well. Toyota going very wide there, trying to get past. Little impatient. BMW going through them, and we follow them through, almost colliding with that Ferrari, and we do just knock the back of the BMW there. However, don't ruin his race, so staying in behind, letting the Toyota squeeze up the inside as well. And then the Ferrari is also probably going to be wanting to get past quite urgently. They're both through. Exceeding the track limits there a little bit, not ideal. BMW getting quite a wide line, so we do gain coming out of the straight here.
The next car is Rossi.
See if we can make a move coming down into the first corner.
E9.
Looking at the inside, however, thinking better of it. Getting a bit squiggly on the entry there. However, I do slow down there. I think I just lost concentration and thought that I needed to brake.
There's a group of faster cars behind. They're racing for
Nice
position.
line from the BMW. However, it looks like we were a bit tighter. Having to lift on the entry there a little bit though. BMW getting a little bit sideways. So settling into this race then, up into P9. Let's just keep up this pace, letting the two hypercars go through on the inside. Nice and tidy. Don't want to ruin their race, don't want to ruin my race, no contacts. All is good. Right, hot on the heels of this BMW then. So keep watching and let's see if we can make a move.
There's a faster class car behind.
Swinging out to the left hand side then to see if we can basically get a better exit out of this corner than BMW. Try and get on the power a little bit earlier. He does get a little bit squiggly, and we do need to let someone up the inside there. However, maintaining the speed, closing up on the brakes here, and once again, door wide open, so we go up the inside. Nearly make contact on the exit there, however, we do keep away from each other. Getting a nice drive out of here then. Got about 10 laps to go until we need to be going into the pits. So still plenty of time to catch up to the guys in front and make up some positions. Let's settle into this part of the race then, keep the BMW behind, and let's see how we get on.
E8.
Jumping forward to the start of lap 12 then, just crossing the start finish line now.
Laps of fuel left. You've just done a 150.45.
So we're right up on the back of the McLaren here, after gaining on this McLaren after passing the BMW on lap 7. Nice and close into the brakes, trying to stay right within that slipstream range as we do have a bit of a straight down here. Having to lift off then, as the McLaren did go a little bit slower through there. So not really sure I'm going to be able to make the move into this corner. Having a little peek though, just to make him aware that I'm there. Getting a nice tight line through here. McLaren in front going a little bit wide, so it's still on the back of him, 0.3 seconds. Looks like they will be pitting before us with the 11% of virtual energy, potentially even coming in at the end of this lap. So we do want to stay on the back of him then to try and maximise what we can get. Flat out through here. Going a little bit deep. Actually hitting the apex right on actually. Got the couple of hypercars going at the inside. I'm just letting that last one through. Nice. closing up on the McLaren, and in that same corner as we've made the other two moves, we're going to go up the inside of the McLaren. However, they do have the inside line for the next corner. Can we hang it around the outside? No, we cannot. Don't quite have the grip there, so slotting back in behind the McLaren. However, we are right on the back of them. Just peeking up the inside there. However, it didn't really work out. Following nicely then, let's see what we can do. Through to the end of lap 13 then, and as you can see, the McLaren is still in front of us. However, going off into the pits there for their pit stop, and we move up into P4, P3 that is. Got about 2.6 laps until our pit stop ourselves. So now we've got some clean air in front of us. We should be able to push, getting some decent lap times. Hopefully we don't have too much traffic coming up behind us as well. Looking at our MFD down there, just getting the pit stop set up for when we do come in. A little bit distracted and going wide there. Got about 40 seconds to the cars in front. They'll definitely be coming into the pits at the end of this lap with the electrical energy reserves that they have left. You don't want that to run out.
That's 15 minutes.
So hopefully we should gain a little bit on those. We might lose a place behind, but we'll have to see when we come out of the pits.
Sector 3 is now clear. Heels in front is pitting. Yang is leading the race. Yellow flag in Sector 1. It looks like Rossi has gone off. The gap to Patrick behind is increasing. It's now 20 seconds. Green flag Sector 1.
Coming around the start-finish straight then, and you can see P2 in the pits, and we go up into P2 briefly. So at the end of this lap we will be coming into the pits, so I'll skip ahead to the end of the pit stop and you can see where we come out.
150.93. Lemon is now leading.
Finishing the pit stop then, and you can see coming out in P3 at the moment. P2 getting out just in front of us. We do lose a position there. I don't really know what happened, as it did say we were in P3. So, but coming out in P4, not a bad position, means us at the start of the race we dropped down to P13 and we qualified in P7. 10 minutes left to go, and we've got just enough fuel. I think the fuel stop did help there in terms of how long we were in the pits for. However, I can't really take all of the credit for the pit stop, as it was an app, a website that I used on my phone. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I will attach the link for that down in the description. I did have to enter the values though, in terms of the fuel usage and electrical usage and lap time, so I can't let the fuel calculator take all of the credit, as I had to enter those values myself. Let's keep going then. We've got 7-second gap to the guy behind, and we've got a 8-9 second gap to the guy in front. We didn't change our tyres, all we did was just put fuel and electrical energy, so the tyres are nice and warm. Don't need to go through the whole process of warming those up. Settle into this. Let's see how we go.
Flag Sector 3. Green flag in Sector 3. We think yields has gone off.
Coming across the line then, I will be flicking through to the final lap, as we did just settle into this little pocket here, essentially. As you can see, 5 seconds left, just coming across the line to start the final lap.
You've just done a 150.26.
We did close the gap down to Brio up in front, down to about 4.5 seconds. It was 9 before. You can also see that down to 5% energy.
Okay, Luke, there's a faster car approaching. You're reeling Vero in. The gap's now 4.8 seconds.
So if you keep an eye on the gap there, we do start to gain a little bit. Not sure if they're trying to reserve energy. I assume they are, or there was a bit of traffic going through. So, but essentially around half around the lap, and we've got about a 4-second gap to close up. So unless they're going really, really slowly, I don't think we're going to be able to capitalise on that. Coming down to about 3.5 seconds. Getting a track limits warning there. However, it does look fine. If we did break the limits, I don't think we would have gained any time. So got our first finisher just flashing up on the leaderboards there, P8. So looking like we're pretty secure in P4. Obviously I don't think there's any threat from behind with the gap there, and with the last couple of corners coming up and still a 3-second gap up in front, I don't really think we're going to be able to make a move for P3 either. So P1 crossing the line, P2 flagging up. You can just see P3 up in front of me there, just out of reach. Maybe if we'd had a little bit less in the pits, we do have some energy left over, we could have made that position up. But finishing P4 then, not a bad race, means as we qualified in P7, started and dropped down into P13. So let's flick over to the results, see how we got on, and check our safety rating as well. Looking at the leaderboards there then, you can see finished in P4 with a lap time of 1:49.051. Not as quick as our qualifying, but we were suffering a little damage. Flicking through into the results then, you can see gaining 3 positions. Got an increase on the driver rating and also on the safety rank of +6%. Probably not as much as we would have liked, but it's better than nothing. So even closer to gold, hopefully just a couple more races and we can be there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Hopefully I will see you in the next one. Keep a lookout and enjoy your week. See you in a bit.